Hey everyone, welcome to Appliance Advisors. I'm Francesco, joined by Dennis. Today we're going to try to help solve a unfortunately common service complaint, and that is my clothes or your clothes are stuck in the washer machine. It's stuck, it's not spinning anymore, but your clothes are in there and it's full of water. What do you do now?
Oh, listen, I've been on the receiving end of these calls, and I take the lead from our huge service department that helps me with them all. But yeah, you get that call a lot. And so I think let's start with front loaders. So when it's a front loader, it's scary, right? You just can't lift the lid, you can't get in there. And I'm going to tell you about a top loader issue and why. Okay. So a couple of things with front loaders. A lot of times this has happened when you haven't been in the house or haven't, maybe shut out to go to the store, and you come back and your machine now may be off, and just that you're seeing water in there and it's not moving. Okay. And a lot of times people ask why. And a lot of times what that is, or it may have drained, but the clothes are soaking wet, even if you could open the door.
Yeah.
A lot of times what you missed while you were gone was something probably saying UE or something saying, basically it's saying it's uneven. A front load machine, you'll see it tumble one way, stop, tumble the other way, a bunch of times on its first setting. And it does it periodically throughout the wash because it is trying to level the machine or balance that load of laundry in there. So a lot of times what that is, that'll happen is if you can get the machine to shut off, sometimes you unplug it, plug it back in, and then you might put it on a quick cycle or rinse and spin, and it'll pump that water out and get enough for the water to be out so you could stop it and take it out. And generally it's a huge towel. It's a bunch of maybe jeans or a blanket or something that you can physically see is just really, really wet. A lot of times when I fix that, oddly enough, counterintuitive, you put more clothes into it because you need something to balance the weight of whatever's creating this unbalance. That's maybe getting too deep. But when the door itself is locked, it's very brand dependent, but a lot of times that could have been what's going on. The other thing that can happen in top load laundry, I took an emergency call this past weekend, and then I started saying, wow, this is a problem. And it's one of the number one search terms because I think in the moment you're panicked. And you'd think front load laundry, like we talked about, but top load laundry, the same thing.
Yeah, the lid
Top load
locks.
laundry in the last 5, 6, 7 years have gone to lid locks, all but one brand. There's one machine that does it. A lid lock was just for safety, that once that machine does have water in it, the door's now locked. Growing up as a kid when I was, you could
Yeah.
lift that thing and that thing's spinning, you're
Yeah.
watching it and throwing more clothes in there all the way along. But now they've locked that lid. I'm sure there was something really, maybe they're nervous of a child or somebody getting up in there and something worse happening. But yeah, so they all lock the lid. So if that happens throughout the wash in a top loader, you have the same issue. Some can be drained. Some absolutely require a service call where they need to pump out the water, or literally if there's not a quick release, and there was a few. This was a lady came in, I think it was an old Whirlpool. It was a Whirlpool or Maytag rather, and she couldn't get in the drum. She needed a service tech to pretty much take it apart. And this machine was only 3 years old.
Yeah.
3 days old rather. She bought it somewhere else. They couldn't help her. Unfortunately for her, but fortunately for us, we could help her. But it got me down this path of really researching this recently, and the only machine is the Speed Queen 5 series. It is the one machine that doesn't have a lid lock. So if you're that purse, and it's only in the 5. So if you want to add that clothes throughout, Speed Queen 1 is a phenomenal machine. It can do that. But so we talk to people to say, check to make sure if it's unloaded. Sometimes you put it on a rinse and spin and try to restart it again. It'll pump that water out and let you at least kind of assess the load. But a lot of times I want you to look to the fact that the machine's unlevel. The other thing it could be too is, on front load, top load laundry, again, a lot of them, even front load, are what's called direct drive driven. So it's like a shearing pin. Think of it like this. And that shearing pin is made to break, almost like in a small engine if you had a
Snowblower, exactly.
we think of that. We've all hit something.
Yeah, exactly.
We
We've all
quick
been
say
there.
like, oh, I need a steering pin. But basically it's made to break before it does more damage. The challenge is the repair is probably equally expensive as a machine. So we say that if you're really throwing too much at it or not enough and it's spinning out of that clunk, 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 you hear it doing that thing, that could be a reason why it has actually broken and it's not full. So first thing we say is try the old unplug, replug. Try to turn it to a lower cycle and restart it and see if it'll pump itself out. If it's on level, you might want to throw clothes in there. That's probably what happened. If it's doing nothing and it's dead and you can't get it out, look to your specific machine. Some do have traps and drains in the front that you can release that water, albeit going to be messy. But to get that water out, there are some ways. And then there's other brands that you probably do need a qualified technician because the machine needs to be pulled up and kind of almost disassembled
Yeah, to get the water
a
out.
bit to get to the water. Not the best thing, but it's something you can do. But a lot of times that's the reason why you don't just have to rush to call a service tech.
Okay, awesome. Well, there's definitely some great tips. Luckily, it has not happened to me yet, but at least now if it does, I'll know what to do. So appreciate that. Listen, we always say, not just the sales guy here, always bring some of the service and other things that you'll never even think about. So appreciate those tips, and hopefully it hasn't happened to you, but if it has, you'll know what to do.